I'm doing 30 days in the hole. Yeah. That's nice. 30 days in the hole. 30 days in the hole.
Hey, Cedric.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
How you doing?
Finally made it.
Good. Glad you can make it.
So, this is it.
30 days in the hole. 30 days in the hole. 30 days in the hole.
Brian, where are we?
This is the largest of the 4 reservoirs that we have here in the Village of Oak Park. It's 5 million gallons. The other 3 are 2.5 million gallons. And this is our main reservoir for our water distribution system. The EPA requires us to have a 2.5-day supply of water on hand at all times in case there's any type of contamination from our parent supplier, which is the City of Chicago, Lake Michigan. If by some chance they had a problem with bad water, we can close our valves for the City of Chicago and have 2.5 days of fresh water for our own supply before we would have to do anything drastic.
So if something happened, we've got at least 2.5 days of emergency water at all times in Oak Park.
That's correct.
How many miles of piping is there between Chicago and Oak Park to get water here?
Well, there's 4 connections with the City of Chicago right at Austin that connect directly into our system. We have 105 miles of water main just in Oak Park, and we're a closed loop system so that the water comes out of these reservoirs, goes into a giant loop and doesn't go anywhere else. It just stays in Oak Park. We don't sell water, provide water to anybody else.
Brian, this place is huge and there's quite an echo in here.
That's right. It's about 260 feet long, 160 feet wide, and 19 feet from floor to ceiling. So with it empty in here, there's quite a bit of space for sound to bounce around.
When was this structure built?
This reservoir was built in 1924. It was put in service in 1925. Everything down here everything is original. You got the original pipes, the original valves. It's down here, so everything is original from 1924.
How does water find its way into the reservoir?
This reservoir is filled from 2 spots from the City of Chicago. The 2 pipes behind you are the direct feeds from the City of Chicago, and also at the other end of the reservoir there's another pipe that's connected to the 2.5 million gallon reservoir, which is underneath the skate park.
And why is it empty right now?
Right now we're doing our 5-year inspection, cleaning, and any kind of repairs we need that is required from us through the EPA. Every 5 years we have to drain it, clean it, inspect it, make any repairs as needed.
I see quite a few columns here. How many columns are here and what are the purpose for the columns?
Well, there's 144 columns which support the ceiling, which the ceiling is about 12 inches thick of concrete, and there's about 40 inches of dirt and earth on top of the ceiling.
So Brian, where we're standing right now, when the reservoir is full, we would be underwater.
That's correct. Yes, if the fullest point of the reservoir is at an 18-foot level, which is a foot lower than what the ceiling. The height of the ceiling is 19 feet, and our highest point is 18 feet of water. And then the average minimum depth is between 15 and 16 feet.
What do they use the water in this reservoir for?
This water is fresh drinking water and also for our fire protection.
How many gallons or how much water does the Oak Park community use from this reservoir?
The Oak Park averages about 6 million gallons per day. You know, it varies between the time of year. Obviously the winter is a little bit lower, summer months are a lot higher.
How does the water get treated if people are drinking it and using it for their everyday use, if we could stand here?
Well, the water comes pre-treated from the City of Chicago. It's finished water from the City of Chicago, and then as the water leaves this reservoir, we treat it a little bit more with a chlorine disinfectant before it goes out in the system. When we're getting ready to fill this, when we're all done with our inspection, we superchlorinate the water, which is a disinfectant. We fill it up, let it sit. We take 2 consecutive days of bacteriological sampling, and as long as those pass, then we can put it back into service.
When the water comes in from the lake, from Lake Michigan, is that where it comes from? This is full. You need to get water out to the community. How does it actually happen? The valves and pipes, how does that work?
Well, the water is pumped out by using 4 variable speed dry pumps, and the pipe that is directly behind you here is where the water comes out of the reservoir. and it goes out into the system through the pumps, and then right out in the system through the water mains throughout the whole town.
So Brian, we've got 5 million gallons of water in this structure on a daily basis. How long does it take to flush that out?
Well, the water in here, it changes over about once a day, about a day to a day and a half. It totally turns over. The water gets sucked out through the bottom of the reservoir, so the water is in constant motion to prevent the water from becoming stagnant. It keeps it fresh and it's in constant motion. That's the same with this reservoir and the other 3 that we have also.
Are there any other structures like this in other towns, or is this kind of unique as opposed to like water towers?
Every town has their own water storage. There's some towns that have elevated storage tanks, the water towers, and other towns we have underground storage like we do here. Forest Park and River Forest have underground storage tanks. Other communities have elevated storage tanks, which is a different system than we are. Elevated storage tanks is a gravity fed to keep the pressure up. And like with us here, we have to constantly keep pumps running to keep water pressure up.
This is a pretty nice structure. How much would you charge me to throw a party in here?
I don't know about that. We probably can make some decent money on that, but I don't know if the EPA would let us.
I want to thank you for being with us.
Oh, sure. You're very welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.